Hi, Phyllis here from southernfrugal.com. Today I wanted to show you, this would be a salad from the 1950s. We didn't have all the cucumbers and radishes and all that kind of stuff in the grocery stores back then. We were very limited in the fresh produce area. I was trying to remember a while ago what we did have. You could get, in the wintertime, of course you could get, in the fall, you could get apples, oranges, and nuts in the produce department. But the produce department was just on one side of the store, and it was just in a very limited space. But you could get iceberg lettuce, no other kind of lettuce though. And you could get tomatoes. Now the tomatoes, see if y'all remember this, I think the brand was called Cello, C-E-L-L-O. And I think they called them that because they wrapped them in cellophane in a little thing that had 4 tomatoes in it, and they really didn't even resemble a tomato, I'll have to tell you. Tastes nothing like a vine ripened tomatoes. Now we get tomatoes all year long. They're grown in greenhouses in Canada because of the free trade agreement. So this really actually tastes like a vine ripened tomato, or at least it does to me. But you couldn't get, you could get celery around Thanksgiving, you could get potatoes and onions, and sweet potatoes in the fall, but it was really limited on what you could get. So there was no such thing as, I don't ever remember seeing romaine lettuce, certainly none of the baby lettuce, none of that, and you couldn't even get a cucumber, not in the wintertime. You could in the summer, but not in the wintertime. So, and we lived in Newport News, Virginia, so I mean that was a pretty big area, but things just were not coming in as fresh. Now if you lived in California in the 1950s, you probably got all kinds of fresh salad fixings, but not here in the East. And we got some from Florida, and I really think those Cello, I think it was C-E-L-L-O, tomatoes came probably from Florida. But the reason I'm so familiar with it is because my daddy made me and my sister go to the grocery store with him. I went one week and she went the next because he said we needed to learn how to buy groceries. So that's, I must have been, when we started doing that, I don't even know, maybe 6 or 7 years old. And he would always make us go with him because he was the one that bought the groceries. And my mother stayed home with the younger children. So anyway, I thought you'd find this interesting, that our salad was lettuce and tomato and mayonnaise. So here we go. So I've broken my iceberg lettuce into, little pieces that you can pick up with your fork. Now, what we did was break it up into the pieces, and then we washed it 2 or 3 times. And then with the tomato, all we did, now my mother peeled all hers, I'm not going to go that far, but I cut that little thing out on the top. Because these greenhouse tomatoes, the skin on them is really not that tough. Here's how she did the tomato. She would cut it, now you'd cut it over the bowl, so any juice that runs out goes right into the bowl. Because that's part of what makes it really, my husband's mother used to call this a wet salad. Now, Mother always fixed it just before the meal, and we're getting ready to eat our main meal of the day, so that's why I'm fixing it now. So after you've cut it all into those little squares, can y'all see that? Then you just cut it across and let those pieces of tomato fall in there. Cut it almost to the bottom, or as far as you can. Still have it in little bitty chunks, and then if there's any on the bottom, you can just kind of cut them around like that. Alright, so that's our tomato, and the next thing was to put salt on it. Now if you use pepper, this would be the time you'd want to put some pepper on it. And the only other thing was to put some Kraft mayonnaise, and everybody I knew used Kraft mayonnaise for this. So I'll just take a big spoonful, put it right on there, and just start mixing it around so that everything kind of has some mayonnaise on it. Now if y'all are probably let me guess now and say, if y'all are in your 60s, you probably remember your mother making a salad like this when you were growing up. Now, there were no cucumbers in the store except in the summertime, so this would be the kind of salad that you would have in the wintertime. And my mother just called it lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise. And I'll have to tell you that also, I think, in the 1950s, that hamburger called Whataburger came out. And what made Whataburger different is they mixed up their tomato, lettuce, and mayonnaise and put it on the hamburger. So that was different. All right, so there it is. Now, if you use black pepper, you'd want to put some black pepper on it too. There it is, and you want to make that just before the meal because otherwise it'll kind of wilt on you. But my mother always made it just before it was time to serve the meal, and you didn't put it in a separate bowl. You actually put it on the plate you were eating from along with everything else. And that was a 1950s version of a salad. So, if some of y'all have remember having a salad like that, leave a comment below. It'd be real interesting to see what people say about it. Especially if you live in California, did y'all have, I don't know, did y'all have romaine lettuce? And I'll bet you had cucumbers all year too, probably, or in Florida you probably did. But anywhere else in the States, you didn't have all that extra stuff like what we've got now. So anyway, 1950s salad. All right, see y'all later.